What is up and welcome back. All right, get a snack, get something to drink, pull up a pillow, a blanket, because man, this is going to be a minute, a while. Where do we begin? All right, well, first and foremost, let's get into the beginning of the day and then we'll go trickle down the road. And you can say, Kaya, why were you holding up two fingers in your thumbnail? I am holding up two fingers in the thumbnail because I feel like this is round two, ding, ding, ding. I feel like this is going to continue and continue and continue until something drastically happens. My thoughts and theories, and then we'll get into the community tab. I know everybody else has covered it. I just am not going to read it all. A lot of people have already covered it. I'm just going to tell you my opinion on it, and then we'll move right along. But let's talk about why I feel this is round two. So she made a stream an hour ago. It's 3 hours, 18 minutes, and 50 seconds. She has stayed up all night doing promiscuous activities, you catch my drift, doing substances. This is why I feel like it is round two, I say. I feel like she proclaims she flushed the items, if you know what I mean, but I don't believe that. She says she called her uncle at like 8 this morning. She had stayed up all night listening to music and doing, substances. I feel like she ran out of stuff, panicked, and then freaked out, or got too bzzzt and then panicked and maybe thought something was wrong. So bzzzt, she was feeling funny and maybe was like worried about down. And that is when she tried to contact her family, her uncle. I feel like I noticed at the end of the stream, I did watch all this. That's what took me forever to get this together, is at the end of the stream, she started getting a little panicky and she makes the comment of, this is hard to process. Hold on. Well, we'll get to it. I don't want to start confusing myself. So basically, it was all coming together. She's like, now I kind of wish I wouldn't have said anything. It was like she's, coming down. So I feel like she was in one of those moments where she was, like I said, either ran out of stuff, you know what I mean? Or she was so buzzed on stuff, she freaked herself out. One of the two. She proclaims that her uncle told her to flush the substances. I don't know if I believe that. Well, I don't believe that. How about that? To be honest, I don't believe that. It's like I said, those are my two options, I feel like. So let's move along with what I feel about the community tab and why all this will put together how I feel. And, so again, she's gaining subs. She's got a new thumbnail picture that I noticed. Well, that's weird. Hold on a second. So wait a minute. The tablet's showing. So my phone is showing this thumbnail here. It's like fingers in her hair or something with lingerie. And then the tablet, did she just change this? Hold on. No. That's weird. My phone is showing one thing, and it's showing the thing is who is she made for. Huh. That's quite strange, honestly. Look at this. So she's got another thumbnail up. I'm like, I don't know. It's a weird thumbnail to me. So, and then I noticed that, obviously somebody is out here doing work for her because, she is not doing all this. And it's really weird that people are putting Pete's in these, first off, I would be appalled if somebody put a picture like that up of me. She really thinks these are cute. And, Pete's in unflattering positions too. But, so somebody's out here obviously making these, and then she's probably using them because I really don't see her taking the time. I don't know, but I highly doubt she is taking the time to make all these. So I think it's pretty sad when you have a channel and that the channel is growing too. She's up to 87. Well, she's been at 87, but now it's 87.4 and some change. So she was at 87.2 and some change. I'm not saying that she doesn't deserve subscribers, but it's like it's showing to her when she was doing, things, she was losing them. And now it's like she's got everybody back in her pocket. Everybody's subscribing back to her. To her, this is just showing the more I show you this bad activity, the more I show you these things, I'm gaining from it. I'm losing nothing. Back to gaining. So, super chats were rolling through, people becoming members. I noticed a name that was on there before that must have dipped out and is a member again because it said, thank you for your membership, yada, yada, yada. I'm blowed back here. How do people, have they never dealt with somebody with addiction, a friend, a family, somebody? You cannot reward somebody that is going through things with monetary gain. You can't. They have to lose things to be able to feel like they're losing stuff. Right now, you are rewarding this person, and that does nothing to them because they're not hitting rock bottom, so it still continues their activity. And just like everybody said, oh, I'm not going to spend my money on this. Well, it keeps coming out. Oh, I bought this, that, and the other. Why another thing I want to say this, Chantel, if you come across this yourself, why do you feel it's the right to glamorize and to boast and brag of how much substance you buy? I really feel like that's like a weird ass floss, like a weird front, and it's not cute and it's not funny. It's like she's almost bragging. She's talking about the sugar is pure. First off, honey, get a tester. They sell them. I'm sure that shit is far from pure. The borders are closed down. And to me, in my opinion, you would be an easy candidate to take advantage of. And I'm not being mean by saying because of her, but it's just like she's not in the street life. She doesn't have a tester kit, and yes, they do have tester kits. The police use them. You can get them at different smoke stores, people worried about, friends, family, or, just trying to be safe, doing their thing, checking to make sure there's no fent in it. But she's claiming that it's pure, that's why it's so much. No, they're probably taxing the holy heck out of you. That is probably why it's so expensive. They don't know who you are, and they're like, who? Whoever it is, you probably spilt the beans that you do YouTube, and they're probably like, ding, 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 ding. We've got us one here, Captain. Chantel, there's not probably much pure going around. The borders are closed. You don't live close to where it is from. Let's just leave it at that. But it's almost like a boast and a brag to me that it's so pure, guys. I'm like, and then why are you getting in here telling people how much you are buying? First off, to me, that is incriminating yourself. Anybody would be smart. They would be like, no, I'm not giving this person money that's talking about blowing hundreds of dollars on the stuff. But no, it's the complete opposite with these people. Do you think when Chantel gets her money, she's going to set and divvy, oh, these are from super chats, these are for memberships? No, the money's going to her bank account. When she wants something, if she's going to buy that, she's going to buy it. So what does that mean? Therefore, she's still spending your money on the sugar, on the stuff, on the substance, in my opinion. Now, again, these are only my opinions. I'm a recovering addict if you're new to my channel. The last thing you can do, and I don't want to hear anything from over at that camp if something happens. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing from any one of those people that are on that membership or sent those super chats if something happens, if you catch my drift. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little riled up, but this is just like, here, you got a problem? You can't do that. You cannot reward somebody with bad behavior with money. I don't want to hear anything from anyone over there if something happens. And no, I do not wish any bad upon her, but your actions and your money could be helping do putting her below, per se, for YouTube's sake. Now let's move on. Now the reason why I'm so riled up is, okay, why must you... Okay, let's just show the picture and then we'll move on. So, to me, myself, and I, okay, somebody, this is just word on the streets of YouTube. I do not know. These are not facts. I want to put that out there. I have no idea about this. I just want to put, somebody said this is an old picture. I honestly don't know. I have no idea. But anyways, moving right along. Why do you feel the need? That is why I'm irritated, because you don't want help. You don't. You only say that when you're hitting, you're coming down. That's when you say that. Just like a while ago. You got busted up and then, oh, I want to get help. No, it's not till you run out, or it's not till late in the morning when you've been up all night, is then when you decide you want help. And I don't care what you say. That bouncy ball video, no, you were bouncing literally off the walls and the couch. You cannot tell me otherwise, you guys. Chantel does not want to go downstairs to get a fork and a spoon and ate with a back scratcher a couple weeks ago. So don't give me this energy just so. Then if you noticed on my things, check out the shorts. It's kind of like TikTok, I've mentioned. The short videos, you can only do it from your phone. But there's one on my videos. Chantel was bouncing literally all over the place with energy. Her nose was, you could tell, in my opinion. Her nose is raw. What does that tell you? But no, nobody believes this. Every time she comes back, every time. How many times is it going to take her to come back before something happens, before these people realize, oh, it's too late? Again, I don't want to see anything from the members, from the super chats. That now, there are some people that have tried to speak sense, and we'll get into that. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the tail pats, the kiss pats, the ass pats. That's the super chats. That's the members I'm talking about. And even if you're trying to talk to her through sense, paying her money, that's not obviously working. You're still giving her money, so therefore you are being an enabler, in my opinion. Now, let's get into this community tab, back to it. Why must you feel the need to sit here and look at this? And everybody's covered this. And I want to make a little, now mind you, this is a serious situation. This is somebody that's taken this serious. Again, you guys, I'm not going to go over all this because it's a book. Because everybody else has covered it. But let's, number 11. Someone is barfing and farting in the room next to me. Really? What was the point in that? Because to me, second off in your book here, you are worried about everything and everybody else debunking rumors. That is why you will never try and beat this, because you are too worried about everybody else other than yourself. If you are legitimately in the hospital, again, because I never know what to believe, because you've lied so much, and then you wonder why people don't believe you. That's why. Nobody ever wants to doubt somebody being in the hospital or somebody being sick. You catch my drift. Another person that I'm disgusted with, in my opinion, that is just treating people like garbage, as Amy would say. I guess Amber is making derogatory. Anyways, let's move on. I'm over her games too. Thinking you're gonna sell all your junk for freaking. Go to the store, you guys, and buy. If you want that stuff, half the stuff she's selling, you can get at. Go get your own candles for $11.95 or on sale. It's semi-annual sale. Try and find stuff. I don't know why people support bad behavior and people that do not want to change, in my opinion. So here we go, like I said. So this has 638 thumbs up. So we got everybody back in the pocket. Now this to me is, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what this tells me? You know what this tells me? You're not taking any of this seriously. You are talking, and let's go over one thing I do want to point out. And my weight loss did, capital, start with Ozempic. It made me not hungry, so because I didn't address my food addiction, I believe transfer of addiction occurred. So I did lose 50 pounds or so from the Ozempic and not substance abuse. I will continue to try and maintain and lose weight to do it healthier. People say I don't have a right to say anything about weight loss because it's from Ozempic. Have a skewed thinking process. It is a tool just like any other weight loss surgery, etc. First and foremost, Chantel, no, you don't. Ozempic is not specifically for weight loss. It is for the diabetes. Second off, when have you tried coming home from Dom's house and going through Burger King, eating chicken parmesan every night and fettuccine? You are sending a shit message to people. And that's why people are aggravated with you. And that's why people say you have no right to talk about weight loss because no, you haven't been trying. No. Eating pints of ice cream, eating slushes, 1 and 2 a day, drinking slushes, eating blizzards, that is not somebody that's trying. No, you don't have room to talk. Because you haven't been trying. You might be trying to order not another slush a night or not a blizzard, but that doesn't count. That's not weight loss journey. So no. You don't. There are so many people that is real channels on a journey. There are people in my real life that are going on a real life weight loss journey and have been busting their tails and aren't out here drinking Dairy Queen slushes and eating blizzards. You are making a mockery of it. Sorry, I'm getting riled up, but she doesn't understand. Chantel, let me tell you a little something too. You think you can continue to silence people and these people aren't going to back? And I'm not saying me. You continue to silence people just like somebody super chatted you right quick. Let's read it. And what they said and what you said to them. And you don't think that you're going to get people on your back that are pissed off. What are you doing? You really have this thing that you are untouchable out here. Yes, you are a bigger channel, but you just don't. Hold on, guys. I have so much written down. Then we're going to get to this and bang these notes out. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I got it. Sorry. I have so much. Okay, here we go. Basically, a girl said, when are you going to stop milking your members and super chat? Yada, yada, yada. Stop milking your members. She says, shut up. And you are going to be hid from my channel. They erased the girl's $10 super chat. First off, me personally, I would have taken my super chat back if you erased the words, but that's just me. But I wouldn't have sent one from the get-go, but hey. They erase her super chat immediately. Chantel reads it and she literally says, "Shut up and you're going to be hid from my channel." Chantel, do you think that you can continue to talk to people this way and people aren't going to do stuff? You really don't. You really think you're untouchable. And that's just, we're going to leave that at that. You really think that you can talk to people any way out here, and then you wonder why you get all these people on your bumper. Do you ever wonder, like, you don't wonder, like, you and Amber Lynn just have this following that people are so, there are millions and millions of weight loss real weight loss channels. This is the weight gain community, might I add. You ever wonder why you two get so much drama and so many people that don't like you? Do you ever wonder that? Do you ever really sit down and crack open the case and say, do I really wonder why people don't like me? It can't be the things that you say, can it? It can't be your attitude. Your past, I don't be mean to people. Chantel, go back to your old videos and look at your story times and listen to the way you talk about men and their body parts. Listen. But it's okay for Chantel to do that stuff and body shame. But when somebody talks about Chantel's body, it ain't cool. You're mean. Fat shaming. You're this. You're that. A man isn't just the size of his fan, his tool per se. It doesn't matter. And just because, if you need a big tool per se and a big fan, you might want to do some kegs, because not everybody needs a big fan, if you catch my drift. Let's just per se. Just saying. All right, I went left, front, forward, backwards. Let's get into these notes, and this is going to be long. So, arguing in the chat, of course. Some people are trying to speak truth, and you know what? They're just arguing. Oh, be quiet. Oh, stop being negative. You know what? This hug box is such a delusional. They were just talking so much stuff about us and all the people. And it's like, oh, you know what? These people over here are smart enough to say that handing her money could be your last dollar or your dime that takes Chantel 6 feet, if you catch my drift. Chantel has is a bigger girl. Chantel has a bad heart. Didn't you hear her say she supposedly went to the hospital because her heart was hurting? So just give her more money. Makes sense to me. Like I said, I feel like she's coming down, if you catch my drift, when this happens. When we get back home, when everything comes all right and she's away from her family's house, I do not honestly feel like this is over. I wish I could say that, but I truly can't. I do not feel like this is the last rodeo for our girl per se. I just don't. You have to have willpower. And here's another thing. Are you or aren't you dead? Because at 1 minute you're saying, oh, I do it every day, and then 1 minute later it's, oh, I go a couple days, then I do it. Added to it is doing it every day. You feel like you can't go without it. So what are we doing here? Because we're all over the place. This is why, and you say in your community chat that people that don't believe you and think you're doing this for attention feel, oh, they're the sickest people on the earth. No, you're not making sense to people that have struggled with things. You're not making sense. Me, for somebody that has been through it and done something every day for years and years, or at least pretty much off and on for years, when you instantly start feeling like crap and can't go out without a day, that to me, but that's why people are not believing you, buddy, because you said it yourself. You're an attention, remember? So people are connecting the dots. Somebody that can go with it for a couple days, yeah, you're in the process of starting to be, but you're not a full-blown. So they take her to get food at the grocery store. They had cabbage rolls and rice, another good old pasta, another good old starch. She is eating pizza buns. She's got cheese and grape leaves. She complains during the stream. She wants to be quiet. As she eats a pizza bun, it's like a big ass thing of bread with cheese and pizza sauce. She says, oh, I already gave the dog some cheese earlier. And then on the bed, the pull-out couch thing, she gives the dog, and it's laying there chilling, not even begging. She gives him a greasy ass pizza bread with cheese on. Don't be feeding your uncle's animals things. Do they feed them table scraps? Once in a while, actually, I can say once in a year, my dogs get a tiny piece of pizza crust on their birthday, and they don't get table stuff. They have dog treats that I make sure, and I highly make sure what is in them. Why are you feeding? The dog wasn't even begging. It didn't even look like it wanted the piece of pizza bread. It just kind of laid it there. And so anyways, so this is where it's like, I'm not going an inpatient. No, I don't need to detox. What is it, Chantel? What is it here? Are you or aren't you addicted? Because people that are addicted need to go to detox. They need to go to rehab. So what is it? What is it here? You're not making sense. See, this is another thing. Over there, and Chantel, I noticed in the chat, we got a lot of counselors and addiction therapists and counselors over there and specialists, because everybody seems to have it figured out over there, I've noticed. And another thing, I don't know why she keeps talking about this like she's been through counseling, like she can really give advice of, you know, you're not out the gate yet, Chantel. Why are you suggesting things to people of, no, I don't need detox? Well, no, you have people listening to you, and that's a scary thing that you don't unfortunately understand. That's why you get people like me aggravated, pissed off, and you're giving dangerous information out here. And quit with the diet stuff, like I said, because you got these people, you're like pushing Ozempic, and now you got these people thinking that, hey, you too can buy a package. We'll leave that at that. And then she says she's carrying Mike's guilt. Are you kidding me? This guy, Mike, passed from what I gather, a struggle with substance, passed away, and then you start doing substance. Makes sense. Second off, I ain't heard a peep about Mike until somebody told you, probably not a good idea to do a stream, a remembrance stream, when you're ripty on substances for somebody that passed with substances. Probably not a good idea. Probably not. But now you're saying you're carrying... Get out of here with this shit. This is ridiculous. Oh, and she's talking about, oh, if your people like The Weeknd, it's a rich man's yada, 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 bragging about spending $2,000. Why do you keep boasting how much you spent? To me, I think I'd be very quiet about how much I spent, because to me, I would be like, whoa, that's more than your, think about it here. Think about it. Let's put it in this perspective here. That is more, $2,000 is more than what you probably make after YouTube takes their cut of membership money. So you're not using that money and then some? Just saying. Okay, yes. So the $10 super chat, it was a great message, and it said, going to take the time. Are you going to finally take care of your health and stop milking your members? She throws a tantrum. We are back to angry, snappy Chantel. Why would you not just go to sleep and get yourself together? See, this is the problem here. You're too worried about missing a beat on YouTube to really get yourself together. That's why I don't believe that this isn't over yet. Because you're too busy in the hospital writing a book, trying to debunk all these other things. And will you please, for everybody else's sake, please, everybody, quit balling the reaction channels up in all one. If you want to call out somebody and have enough nerve to write a book, mention their name. Mention their name. So mom and sister tomorrow are coming for pizza. More carbs, you know, because she's trying, guys. She's going to do this healthier, you know. Just keep plumping her up. See, this is the problem. Your mom and sister are coming for pizza, but they know, and if they don't, they should by now, that you struggle food. You have a problem with food, too, which leads to all these other problems. So let's go make pizza. A carb-filled food, one of her favorite foods, because Chantel's going through something. We got to make baby Chantel some pizza. Let's make baby Chantel her favorite food, and it'll make her feel better. Comfort food is how this shit all started. Covering up what is going on in her life, what is going through her head, what she's trying to cover up in the past is how this is all started with food and everything else. She talks about government funding for a program, and they're going to call tomorrow. She's going to do an assessment, and they said, are you on any other substance? Is it just sugar and cocaine? I'm not being mean or anything, but I tried to get into programs for years and years and years. And I'm not saying this to be mean, and I hope nobody takes this the wrong way. There are people that have been on substances for years that have been trying to get help. Unfortunately, and I'm not saying this to be mean, they are going to come first. They do an assessment, at least with me, they did at the hospital, but you think, I don't know how they would do it over the phone. They have you hold your hands to see if you're shaking. They look at your pupils. They say, how long have you been on the substance? Can you stand still? Do you yada, yada, yada? And I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to give her to try, and I know that sounds, but I don't want to, I just don't want to give anybody tips on things or ways they can exaggerate. You need to be honest, but you need not exaggerate, because if you do not tremendously need to go inpatient, then let somebody else have that needs to do that. Do I think Chantel needs to go in inpatient? No. Do I think she needs to stay with her family for a week or two? Yes. But here's the problem. You can go to rehab, you can go to detox, you can go here, you can go there. At the end of the day, you still cannot run from the problems. You still have to live with yourself. You still have to go home because you have an apartment. At the end of the day, she is going to have to face this herself and herself alone. And do I think she's ready to quit yet? I don't think she is. Would I wish she would? Have I tried to talk to her? Yes. But again, like I said, somebody has got to want to quit themselves. So do I think that it would be a waste of space, a waste of bed for somebody? Yes. And I'm sorry if that offends you, but I'm just being 100% honest on here. I am always honest with you guys, and I don't sugarcoat anything. But I do not think Chantel is ready to, she's not ready to commit yet. So why take away from someone that is? I'm sorry. And that is not meant to be mean. That is me being 100% honest with you guys. Why use government funding? Why take that bed away from somebody else that has been trying to get in there for the last year or the last couple months? Just like when you made the comment saying that you wished you wouldn't have said anything, and you kind of wished you wouldn't have said anything there towards the end of the stream. That to me just says, oh, we might get a couple more runs. She doesn't like group meetings, but she's going to go to attend group with other women. What are you not? Are you going to? You have to listen to what she says. I don't like group meetings, but then I'm going to attend group meetings with other women. No, you're not. Stop playing. Stop playing with people. If you're not going to do this, then just say it. But don't play these games. You wonder why people get aggravated, and you try to get on here and you're making this whole big thing. Oh, I'm going through this and going through that. Then you better take it seriously if you're going to get on here. Because you're not going to keep getting on here all the time and doing this every other, because that's not cool. You're not going to go get bzzz and then come on here and cry and then keep doing it. That's not how this operates. You are making a mockery talking of addiction if you continue to do this. Because you are not taking it seriously and you are not trying. Laying there crying and bitching and moaning on live stream is not doing anything to fix the problem. In your mind it might be, because you're keeping yourself busy and you're reading all the things that you want to hear and they're all telling you. But at the end of the day, you got to live with yourself when it boils down to it. You got to deal with yourself when that knock on your brain, that little temptation buzzer starts to ring and says, oh, I'm bored. Oh, I'm not feeling happy right now. I know how to make me happy. That's who has to deal with that. You have to deal with that. And you have to figure out how to turn that off in your mind and reset your brain and reset your body. And until you figure that out with, it's not going to be good times. So she proclaims that she is going to get STD tested, but she's only been with one man. Well, here's the thing, bud. The one man that you picked to be with seems to have seems to have accounts on different dating sites. And a very strange thing to me, if I was hanging out with somebody or dating them, whatever you want to call it, partying, if they had two mattresses separate in their room, you know my Joe Kane song, the one's to sleep in and the other one's for the plow. That to me sounds like Buddy is very actually active. I think, multiply that more, because it seems like Buddy, there was a woman there at the kitchen table, hence when you were there. So add another partner to that, because you basically got homegirls seconds, we'll call it. She says, my family's not stupid. Well, Bub, where have they been for 2 months? Where have they been your whole life? And just right up here, read this statement. My sister and mom is coming to make homemade pizza. That to me says, Mommy, family, feed me. Oh, it's Chantel. Chantel's going through something. Let's feed her comfort food pizza. That's the problem right there. Chantel has been coddled and babied her whole life. And what are you going to do? Have a fucking salad party. Make a low something meal. Why does it everything's pizza, pastas, rice, carbs, You gonna bring her a cake? Do you want to bring her a gallon of slush? So all of us and reaction channels are stupid. You know what? If I am stupid, don't even get me started with well, I'm not stupid enough to figure out my own situation. And I'm not stupid enough to come on here and try to pull people's leg. And if I was, I would take it off of here and get my act together and come back on here instead of trying to pull the wool over people's eyes until I knew that 100% I was done. I wouldn't get on here and at the end of the stream, she's just miserable. And how long, guys, is this going to take to be honest? Oh, I thought you had this all figured out, Chantel. I thought you were the Joe Kane Pro. You talking about pure and weight and da-da-da and money. Dude, don't eat. People I know, let's just, Chantel would be such an easy target for people. You catch my drift. She needs to keep the weight off. She's going to go for walks. Chantel, you took maybe 4 or 5, if that, handful of walks for 5-10 minutes. You act like you was walking every video. See, that's the problem. A good touchdown, a good old touchdown to reality wouldn't hurt, because all these things, there's more that you're struggling with than just the things, than just the food, than just the substance. It all boils down to one big thing. One big thing, that you like to live in a fantasy bubble. You like to just have this whole sugar-coated fantasy. And that's not the way the world is. That's why it's hard for you to succeed, because you live in this little camp that you've created. And you got, so, oh, they want to have a party when she's a month clean. I'm going to tell you guys something, not you guys, anybody that comes across this from over there, it takes a month. If Chantel is truly struggling with substance addiction, it takes way more than a month to get this shit out the bag. It takes way more than a month to get yourself together. So when you guys start, people always ask me, how long have you clean for? I can't give you an exact date. I have a time realm, but it sounded like every time I started counting, things would get messed up. And I would get so dependent on being like, okay, day da 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 day da 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 da. And I do that in the beginning. Like, oh, I've been clean da 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 days. It becomes pressure. Just do it. Then say, oh, well, down the road, I'm such and such. They're going to sit here and count, and then that puts more pressure on you. These people don't get it. They never been through it, some of them. So, yeah, so you got more people joining, like I said. Then she has to talk about a lady in a hospital, which really hit me hard. It's like, oh, well, maybe the lady just needed an ear. So some lady comes up to her and is talking, and she's like, I really didn't want to be talked to. Chantel, no, nobody wants to talk. You probably don't look approachable half the time. Anyway, so the lady just probably needed somebody to talk to, she says. Of course, she didn't want to talk, blah, 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 but she listened. It really took me to my grandma and her grandma. I don't believe, honestly, that if Chantel's grandma was not in that assisted living or nursing home, whatever it is, I don't believe she really went to go see her towards the end. She was worried about everything else. I don't really probably believe she called her. It took me to a place with my grandma, and it's like, how sad. Can you not just for 1 minute think about you? Yeah, I'm sure, it sound like to me you're probably ripped there in the time. Hell, you probably wanted somebody to talk to, but God forbid you be nice to people. Sounded like to me, they told her basically, she said something like, they gave her a prescription to stay hydrated. I have never heard anything like that in my entire life. They've told me to stay hydrated, but they never wrote on a piece of, here's a prescription to stay hydrated. Gave her some Tylenol. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really wonder, is that picture an old picture? So it just took me, like I said, her talking about the lady and yada yada. It took me to like my grandma and her It's like, Chantel, people are lonely. Not everybody gets on here and cackles with the internet and has telepatters. Good God. Did it hurt you just to nod and say yeah every couple minutes? I'm not going to go see on the edibles. I'm just going to have 60 milligrams. Well, let me tell you a little secret here. any programs that I've been in here, or been in anywhere, they're not too keen on you doing any kind of substance. So I don't know if you think that you're going to like get into one of these programs and they're not going to make you take a test, but they're not really keen on you. It's called substance transfer. You catch my drift? You're transferring just like you did with the edibles to the cocaine, and now you're going to transfer it back. And remember, see, you transferred that to that, so obviously the edibles weren't enough, so you transferred it to the other thing. And then cane wasn't enough, remember that night, and you wanted to hang out with the girl named Molly, and you wanted to hang out with the girl named Crystal, remember? She says you could be waiting for government. Well, you just bragged about spending $2,000 on Joe Kane, hanging out with him. So why don't you spend some of this new member money coming that you got and your super chat money on some help? But no, we couldn't do that. Oh, we can't do that. Oh. And good old Marissa says, talking about sums it up to try and get off should be okay. Marissa, you are the problem how the bull started in the trees. You helped create the trees and the edible situation type deal. And you could think, you know what, maybe it is just for you, but Chantel takes things to the next level if you haven't noticed. But you're such a good buddy, you never noticed that the edibles took her on a way high path to a different thing. Ashley Lamborghini is the one that says the monthly Beeson party. Ashley Lamborghini sounded like she needed a little attention too. She was saying, oh, something about I'm not that pretty, my nose is big. Oh, are you an attention getter too, Ashley Lamborghini? Because a lot of your comments that I see towards her are always pretty enabling, if you catch my drift. So, Ashley said, oh, my nose isn't that pretty, guys. I have a big nose. Okay. All right. Like I said, fed the good old dog some cheese and then fed it some cheese bread. Prescription to stay hydrated and follow up. Her doctor says they're going to get a hold of her in a couple weeks. I have never heard a doctor say, we're going to get a hold of you. Again, I'm in the U.S., she's in Canada. I have never heard them say if somebody's struggling with something that could practically, put them, I've never heard them say, we'll get at you in a couple weeks. A couple weeks could be too late, but that's just me. Again, I'm in the U.S. We're getting down here, guys. Put a 1 in the chat if I should go to Jamaica. That would be a way to help. No, it wouldn't, Chantel. No, it wouldn't. Because you're just going to do whatever you're going to do. You're going to go over there and you're going to find men and you're going to smoke until you can't stand up. And then you're going to come back here and guess what? Life's going to be the same. You cannot run away from your problems. I used to do that. I would say, you know what? I'm going to move to this place because I'll be so... Now, it did help, I'll tell you. But I had a mind strain to make it help and to use... But in this point in time, you can't just pick up and run and think that the problem is not going to be there. Yeah, you're probably not going to do it, or who knows? I don't know. You might, I don't know. But why wouldn't you... This is the problem with Chantel is going to have a hard time straightening her life out because this just shows she constantly wants to run. She constantly wants to run from her problems like she always has in her life, and she's never dealt with anyone. This just showed me here. We're in for, I don't know. Then she says she's going to Europe and she's going to lose 100 more pounds as she eats a piece of cheese bread with sauce on it. Does she really not understand that she has not got this food situation under grasp? She really doesn't get it. I don't really think she gets it. I think she really thinks that she can eat pizza and think that this Ozempic, and everything else is going to work. And she can just suck down slushes, eat freaking blizzards, and this is all going to work. Not how it works, bud. Everybody would do it. Somebody says maybe switch rooms with Pete's. Now, there's a thing in recovery called people, places, and things. Chantel says, no, there's easily places in there to stash stuff. No, Chantel, what they were trying to tell you is the room that you stay in doing your thing gives you memories of doing your thing, if you catch my drift. So therefore, if you switched rooms with Pete's, it would change the scenery, if you catch my drift. But no, Chantel has to have the bigger bedroom. She has to have the balcony that she never goes out on ever. What they were saying is people, places, things. You change those to change, but Chantel's never had any counseling or any therapy, so of course she wouldn't know those things. So she's going to pay for her own counseling. She says, yeah, she's just going to pay for... Yeah, okay. If Chantel honestly goes to more than 2 counselings, I will try to do a cartwheel in my backyard for you guys. And I haven't did one since I was probably 8-10 years old. And I'm not saying she's going to counseling proof, because we know the counseling errors come in. People are saying it is all Dom's fault, and at first she says, yeah, we're just going to blame the man, and then she says, no, I'm not blaming anyone. Why would you say that? Why would you? Chantel, I've mentioned this before. Yes, it did start with them, but she continued the party by herself, has been doing it by herself. It is not this dude's fault that Chantel does not have self-control. I'm sure that Buddy had no idea what he was getting himself, and I'm not sticking up for Dom. I'm just saying Chantel is a grown woman. I'm sure this guy in the beginning had no idea what he was getting into. So she says she's going to stay at a couple days at her uncle's, which on her community tab, she says she's going to keep secret. Well, you know that lasted about 2 minutes. Bothering the dog, she says dogs actually sleep. Yeah, Chantel, they do. Please don't ever get a dog, please. You can tell Chantel has no idea legitimately how dogs maneuver. Yes, they sleep. She said he digs in his bed. He digs his blankets around. My dogs do the same exact thing. Chantel, you cannot feed a dog all day and night people food. Now, if your family does that, great. That's their dog. That's their choice. But Chantel, please don't ever get a dog. You're going to fatten that thing up, and that is just mean to do. You feed the pets the food, and your cats probably run around eating the leftovers that are chilling on the table. And I'm sure when you left a can of sardines or whatever the hell it was, oyster sardines, y'all remember, some kind of can of something, I bet your cats had a heyday with that and all kinds of stuff you leave around. That's why they're unruly, because, and yeah, I said it, I know plenty of people that have cats, that their cats are not all over the place begging for food. You notice the minute she's at that island, they come over there. Now, I've also said this before, that they use the island because that is where they get fed at too, but Chantel doesn't put 2 and 2 together because that is where she eats too. So they connect that little area with their food. Therefore, they see her eat there. Of course, they're ready to jump over there every time she eats because they connect that whole area with food. You do not feed your pets in the same pit or place you eat because you put their area to connect their mind with their food, your area with your food, so they know to stay away from your food. I'm sorry to say, I feel like I'm like... So, moments, like I said, why did I feel like fleeing? Why did I say anything? That is coming to the end. She starts, shoot, you can tell, and she starts getting aggravated. And, it took me to a place for a minute, I'm not going to lie to you. When she was getting antsy towards the end, it really took me to a place I had to, like, breathe. When I would go through this phase of getting cleaning, you know what I mean, I would go to my mom's. Now, I've mentioned before, my mom is alcoholic, not doing very well, really in bad shape. We do not get along. I'll pop out there today. I stopped out there. My grandma wanted some celery from her, got the celery, and legitimately left, picked a couple flowers, and that was that. But anyways, when Mom was doing a little bit better, I would live different places or different cities, and I would come back for the holidays, or I would come back there when I needed to get myself together, and that is what it reminded me of. I had to, like, breathe for a minute, because it almost took me to that place of me remembering, like, how terrible I used to feel, and tossing and turning and waking up sweating and just being so miserable. And it literally, I had, like, it was like a reckoning for a minute, almost. It was like, I'm glad I don't have to go through this. Like, oh my God, like, Chantel doesn't even understand that she hasn't been doing this stuff, and any time period, I want to say, is not good. But, you know, if she would stop now, she could go through a week or two probably of, you know, thinking about it, and probably 3-4 days, you know, like I've said, you know, up is a lot easier to come to down. You know, opiates, alcohol is very dangerous, and also, so, you know, is what she's doing, you know, but it is a little bit more easier. It's more of a mental, and the other things are more physical. So if she, you know, really did get her act together and stop this, the more and more you play around, per se, and fiddle around with the stuff, the harder it gets. And, you know, it took me to a place, I was like, God, I am so glad I don't have to deal with that stuff. Like, and you got to think, I had been doing stuff for years, so when I would, it was like, within hours, you know, it was within, like, my nose would start running, my eyes, like, me and my best friend would call it the rotisserie. You would feel like your arms and just your legs and your feet would tighten, but I don't want to, you know, trigger anyone. Like, it kind of made me feel away for a minute, but it did take me to a place that I was like, ooh, breathe for a minute. Like, I'm glad that I don't have to go through that. And if she doesn't figure this out soon, each time it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and the longer you do it, it's going to get more and more intense. Withdrawal is going to be hell, and I just unfortunately don't feel like this is it, though. And I'm not trying to say that to be mean. I really am not. I really have tried to reach out to her. And you know what? There's nothing that I can say. Chantel is in a different country. You know, I thought about it, and I'm like, Chantel's not going to listen to me or anybody else. She's not. You know, she's not going to call me up, you know, as like a help or something, you know, hey, I'm struggling right now, I need somebody to talk to. No, she's not going to do that. She's not. She's, you know, and I'm sure probably one of her mods or somebody, don't talk to her. She's one of them stupid reaction channels. Not knowing that I was genuinely trying to help her, but it's all good, man. It's all good. And that's the problem too, is, you know, Chantel doesn't have any real friends. She doesn't have anybody. And, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. She probably thought, in watching these videos, that if I did talk to her, it was going to be tough love. It wasn't going to be sugarcoating. It was going to be raw, Gamber would say. It was going to be real, and it was going to be like, hey, these are the tools I have. This is what I did. This can help. But like I said, you know, Chantel has to do this herself, and we're going to wrap this up, guys. Leave me a thumbs up. It tremendously helps our little channel. Leave me a comment, even if it's emoji. It really does help our little channel, and let's keep on trucking. We got a giveaway coming soon, but I got to make sure all my bills and stuff are paid first. I got to knock these daggone holes out. I know I keep saying it, but I'm being serious. All right, I'm going to do a Ipsy bag, and then get this up, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day, great night. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, join us. Thank you so much. Have a great day, great night, and Kaya is out.